ignore that for now. Later, Nick Fury contacts the X-Men to inform them of the situation with Magneto and the Acolytes. The team is split, with some thinking that Magneto is planning something evil, while the other thinks he just wants to be left alone. See, it's because Magneto was once a good guy, leading the team in Xavier's absence when... I mentioned it once before during my top 15 worst heroes becoming villains. Now you shut up or else I'll reprogram you like your predecessor! Xavier tells them that they need to be prepared in case Magneto has gone bad again, and has the team split up and get ready to launch an attack on him if they need to. Up on Asteroid M, the Acolytes and the Russians aren't happy to see each other, and the Russians are pissed because of the shuttle they destroyed. Magneto comes in so he can show off his chest and tell them to quit fighting each other. One of the Acolytes tries to get closer to Magneto and ask for sanctuary, but a Russian decides to grit his teeth and shoot her in the back. Naturally, since she's wearing heavily enforced body armor, the bullets knock her down at Magneto's feet. Magneto just kind of stares at her like somebody told him a joke he didn't get before he goes from 0 to pissed off. Since, you know, he's the master of magnetism and all, he uses the Russian's armor to make him shoot himself. Another of the Russians apologizes for the situation and says that they're trying to apprehend the Acolytes because they're criminals. "We are officers of the law. We have every right to pursue and apprehend these criminals." "Officers, Major, of no law I recognize." My God, Magneto, do you betray the law?
You betray the law! Law!
See, now I'm imagining Ian McKellen doing that, and it's like 6 kinds of awesome. Magneto sheds a single manly tear for the woman he knew for all of 10 seconds, and Fabian Cortez, leader of the Acolytes, tells him that the world powers will no doubt try to react with their own weapons against Asteroid M for taking them in. Cortez suggests that they should do something before the nations of the world retaliate. Meanwhile, back with the X-Men, Xavier detects that Magneto's entering Earth's atmosphere and dispatches one of the teams out to intercept him. "This isn't the danger room anymore, furball." "And no false alarm, either! The psychic emanations I received from Professor X are deadly serious!" "Oh, don't worry, we realize it's serious. After all, there's pink energy coming out of your forehead." Out in the mid-Atlantic, our wordy narrator decides to tell us what's going on. "Moments ago, he stood at the bottom of the ocean, literally miles beneath its surface, in a realm of awful darkness and abysmal cold, as alien and hostile as any foreign planet. Stood and stared at his handiwork. It was then that he realized that building a sandcastle at the bottom of the ocean wasn't his best idea, and remembered days long past when, in his arrogance, he commanded the great powers of the world to disarm their nuclear arsenals. The great powers subsequently laughed at him since Superman had already come by a few days earlier to get them to disarm their nukes. His goal was noble, or so he thought, to remove forever from all people, mutants and baseline humans, the threat of nuclear annihilation. The governments he challenged didn't see it that way. Turns out there was a practical joke being played in the translators' boxes. The governments thought he was saying, 'Honk if you love pancakes.' The Soviet Union ordered an immediate counterstrike from the fleet ballistic missile submarine Leningrad. He deflected the attack, and then, as an object lesson, sank the vessel that launched it. On the second try, anyway, the first one, due to a miscalculation on his part, accidentally sank the Exxon Valdez. Hey, shut up! Anyway, the point being that he's come to grab the nukes from the submarine, which is relatively intact. The X-Men arrive, with Rogue talking to him first because they used to work together and all. Rogue, why are you cocking your hip to one side? Oh, that's because I'm like a fish. When I'm up in the air flying, I have to push my hips from side to side in order to move. But then why are you standing like that? I don't know! As the group briefly debates with Magneto, the Blackbird jet swings in towards Magneto, who promptly stops it in its tracks. Though what the hell it was doing so close to Magneto is anyone's guess. Did Cyclops plan to ram him with their new plane? Cyclops sends Gambit and Beast out to— Holy crap! When the hell did those two get possessed by demons? Anyway, our heroes that desperately need an exorcist try to fight Magneto, but of course get their asses thoroughly kicked. Magneto wants to know why they're all attacking him when he didn't do anything to them. Maybe it's because you're swiping nuclear weapons, dork. Cyclops thinks to himself how shocked he is that Wolverine was going for a killing attack and that he's on the verge of a berserker rage. Huh, I guess this explains why you didn't give a crap about him being homicidal in Uncanny X-Men number 424. You just get used to it after a while. Magneto gets blasted into part of the nuclear submarine where he discovers the skeletal remains of the submarine crew that he killed. It's a pretty haunting character moment, but it lasts all of a single page before he retreats with the missiles. Rogue flies off to try to talk to Magneto. She may have a point, Scott. Our natural tendency to view Magneto as our enemy may well have helped precipitate this confrontation. Or maybe it was because you and Gambit jumped at him looking like something that Satan spawned in his free time! Rogue tries to convince Magneto that all he's going to do is justify everyone's fear of him as a terrorist. What, just because he stole nuclear missiles? Nah. But Magneto says that while he tried to follow Xavier's path while he was a good guy, ordinary humans made it clear that peace was impossible. His point is made all the more valid when the Soviet Air Force comes in and attacks. Rogue! There is your answer, child, and mine. Whatever we decide, the world will never accept us. Can't hear you fall into my death! Magneto saves Rogue and decides that the best thing to do is to detonate one of the nukes. Yeah, I'm sure Rogue will be just fine, since I'm sure magnetic fields are so good at protecting people from radiation.
Of course! Don't you know anything about science?
Magneto reaches Asteroid M, but is weakened thanks to some slashes of Wolverine's claws. He laments the fact that the X-Men attacked him, especially Wolverine, since the little adamantium rager seemed to trust him during his tenure as leader. Cortez takes command while Magneto rests, using his healing powers on him. Rogue wakes up in the island nation of Genosha and is asked by the local forces to help since the Acolytes are attacking seemingly random places on the island. However, the Acolytes suddenly attack the hospital Rogue is at, one of whom is using the mutant power of big guns. Cortez tells Rogue that they've come to recruit her, but Rogue just punches them away. The X-Men arrive and demand that the Acolytes surrender. Traitors! Genosha bred mutants as slaves! They tried to destroy you X-Men, yet now you defend them! Genoshan government did those nasty share. Government changed. Policies changed with it. Ah, Gambit. Blows stuff up, wears a huge coat, is Cajun, and one of his lesser-known skills is his keen political insight. Beast apparently throws Wolverine at them. Hey, I didn't make this up, it's what it looks like. And of course, the two carry on a conversation in midair with multiple sentences, meaning that it apparently took him like half a minute to reach the guy he was attacking. So yeah, more fighting for another page or two before we get a 2-page spread when Magneto arrives. At least I think he does, but given that his speech is italicized and the stems for his word balloons are jagged, it looks more like a hologram. Magneto announces that he is making Asteroid M a sovereign world and that he's granting citizenship to any mutant who wishes to join it. However, he also declares that if any harm is done to a mutant, he will respond in kind. And so our comic ends back at the school, where resident scientist Moira McTaggart, a supporting character who hasn't appeared in the book at all until now, is crying and saying that the situation that's occurring is her fault. This comic does not suck. I know that may come as a surprise to many, considering I've said in the past that this show is all about the sucky comics, but this was an experiment and one I'm happy with. But don't get me wrong, this comic isn't all that good. It's wordy as all hell, the coloring at times hurts the eyes, and the artwork contains a lot of flaws. But story-wise, it's actually fairly solid, and the characterization is pretty good, with lots of good moments. Now, does that mean that it justifies the millions of copies that it sold? Oh, hell no. I'll grant you some things, but not that. But yeah, this comic does not suck. Oh, that is it, you stupid beefing jackass! I'm gonna pull you right over again!
Return to sender. Return to sender.
I gave a letter to the postman. He put it in his sack. Bright and early next morning, he brought my letter back.
She wrote upon it, return to sender, address unknown, no such number, no such zone. We had a quarrel, a lover's spat.
And finally, this hover wheelchair. I'm assuming every disabled student will get one, right? Right, yeah!